I know oftentimes I focus on activists that have insidiously invaded video gaming culture through the means of journalism and using outlets to push the message via words. But there's another message to push via words, and that is translators, or otherwise known as localizers in the video game industry. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And this character we're going to be talking about today, Katrina Leonoudakis, is the definition of the problem when it comes to insidiously pushing a message through an agenda because you're an activist. And if you couldn't tell by her hair color, what she says in a 30-second clip tells you everything you need to know about this person's intentions. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down not just this 30-second clip that I'm going to go over in this video, but a lot more details about this character in the game localization process that takes words from Japanese and translates them specifically to fit her agenda in English. This is an art form that delicately takes time to make sure the nuance of what the original author's intent comes across to the end viewer when they're in a different country. But this is an avenue that these people use to instead push their own agenda.
Not only that, but when you're subtitling, everybody can hear what they're saying. And you have a lot of people, especially young people like millennials and Gen Z, who got really into Japanese through anime. So they started learning a little bit of Japanese. So they are very loud on social media when they hear something and they're like, wait, that's not what the subtitle said. These people don't know what they're doing. And it's like, no, you guys, like, you know, this is a skilled profession. We know what we're doing. We didn't change it to spite you in your Japanese 101 class. Like, this is actually what they said. You just don't understand the challenges of it.
When I first saw that clip, I couldn't help but share it on Twitter, and holy crap, it went viral almost instantly. Because this is a clip that is uncut, showing you exactly what this person is thinking and how they approach their job. And while there are plenty of people that are coming at her saying, hey, what you're doing isn't cool, she's like, sorry, I know best because I'm the professional and you're not. Translating words from other languages to a local one is an art that requires a nuanced understanding of not just languages, but also the cultures in context with the integrity of the original artwork. And with any art, certain activists will use these cracks in the concrete to squeeze in their personal agendas. And for some reason, increasingly, it feels like these people that have been entrusted with the craft of localization are actually doing far more harm than good. This is clearly the case with Katrina Leonoudakis, a notorious figure in the anime, manga, and video game industry localization sphere, who's been caught on camera admitting to changing the words to not what the original author intended, but instead telling you she knows better than not just you and your translation, but what they're even putting out there in the first place. Katrina wrote, writing off what was an extremely complex and well-researched localization decision as transing a character for no reason is absolutely ridiculous and is 100% something TERFs and the right would write for some bird sight clout. Shame on you. Be better. As I go through this, you're going to notice a constant trend about how she always seems to be talking down to the end user. Like she always knows what's best for you because she's the quote-unquote professional. And really, at the end of the day, it's just narcissistic tendencies. Her words reveal that some people simply aren't meant for translation work. And in fact, based on the direction of the industry, because of people like her and her attitude, will soon be replaced by artificial intelligence anyways. And I'm sure there are a slew of people out there that are begging for that day to happen sooner than later. Sean and Fraud, the motion picture, said, it always never ceases to amaze me how these localizer clowns like Katrina seem to have such delusions of grandeur about themselves, thinking they are somehow better than original creators, vandalizing works. Funny how easily AI does a job better than activists like Katrina. She has a history of changing these words to fit what she wants them to say. I'm not going to go through each one of these. It would be a 3-hour-long video. Again, check out smashjt.com for a much more in-depth deep dive on what this person has mangled to push the message, but the ultimate goal of what I wanted to talk about in this video is how this is the perfect example of how somebody could use localization to instead push a message of activism instead of what the original author's intent was. Amy asked her on Twitter, "I'm honestly curious. So you are transforming the translation because you don't like the material given to you on an officially published project? Why not take another project instead?" And Katrina replied, with her cockiness and her attitude talking down to her, 1. This may surprise you, but I love the material. And 2. The translation is not for you, with a heart. Translation, you are not the intended audience. So this person is taking it upon themselves to say, I'm going to inject my own personal ideologies of who I feel like the target audience is, instead of just taking the work from the original artist and translating it to get the emotions across to the end user of what that original artist intended. No, you are not the target audience. I'm going to change it and transform it to what I want, and if you don't like that, then it's not for you. The audacity of some people. And then she continues to try to rationalize her actions by referencing equivalent experience, a concept in translation theory that she goes with. All translation, whether it's a TV show, medical text, patent, or court document, is bent to the target audience. No, it's not. Like, first off, what? No, it's. Do you imagine how many issues there'd be with medical translations if it was bent to the target audience instead of just telling people what was wrong with the person? To properly convey the original in translation theory, we call this equivalent experience. We need to keep in mind both the source and the target audience. This strikes me as somebody who's trying to make a name for themselves in a cottage industry that does not need to exist. They are inventing problems and then saying they are the solution to them instead of just doing their job of translating the damn words. Like, I get it. There might be some situations where you can say, I can't skin a cat 12 different ways, or you can't, no use crying over spilt milk. Like, there is some local colloquialisms that people will say that don't necessarily translate in the context of the language that you're pushing them over to. And I get that. But you're talking about specific situations where you want to get that image across to the end user in the local language. That's literally the purpose of a localizer. And what this Katrina character is saying is, no, I will take into account whatever I want and change it specifically to fit the narrative and goals that I have. Because I need to enjoy the work. Whether it's for me or not, no, I'm going to make it for me. And if you don't like that, then it's not for you. Katrina said, "Congrats to the entire metaphor localization team at Sega. Unfortunately, this coincides with more layoffs at Sega, including staff that have been there for years. These talented professionals made Sega/Atlas millions, and this is how the company thanks them. For shame." And Katrina continues to threaten to leave Twitter for Blue Sky, saying, "I'll check in now and then, but I'm hoping everyone who matters will migrate away from this hellhole sooner than later, because these people on her side of the aisle cannot ever take accountability for their actions when people are just honestly calling them out, saying, hey, I'd really appreciate it if you just translated it verbatim so that we understand what the original artist intended instead of pushing your own agenda into this words. That would be really nice." And she says, "How dare you? It's not for you. You're the problem. Everyone's against me. Oh, I'm being harassed now." No, we're asking you to be accountable and do the right thing, or get the hell out of what you're doing. Big Boss replied, "It's a hellhole because we can rightfully call you out for your shitty translation work." K Brito said, "How comes you call yourself professional translator when your translations don't match what characters are saying? Your quote-unquote translation only match your hair color ideology." And this is someone that was pointed out by Stuttering Craig on Side Scrollers. By the way, shout out Side Scrollers for 100,000 subscribers. Congratulations. That he noticed that around her profile picture image on Twitter that she had the AEGIS logo, this yellow ring around it. And when you click on that, it's the Allied Employees Guild Improving Sega. This is a union for Sega, and this is something that she supports. She is pro-union, which, you know what, for the longest time, I was like, yeah, pro-union. We need more unions because these game companies are so mean to these employees and just churn and burn them. But then you run across someone like this and you're like, They actually just want a union because they know they suck at their job and they want to hold on to it for as long as they can. And instead of crying victim when they get let go, they can hang on to a union and say, hey, I have a job now because this union is protecting me. And the game companies wouldn't be able to just get rid of her as easy as they'd like to. Learning the Law said, it seems, ladies and gentlemen, that metaphor, rifantanzio, was butchered by localizers, and Katrina Leonoudakis is begging the metaphor localizers to join a union so they won't get fired and can keep ruining your games. Translation is not just about the words, it's about conveying culture, emotion, and the original creator's intent to a new audience. The type of localization practices adopted by Leonoudakis and her admitted disdain for those who are fluent in Japan or have learned the language demonstrates a very troubling trend among certain translators who feel entitled to shape narratives to fit their own personal perspectives. This is a serious issue. It's a problem that can be resolved by artificial intelligence, but in the meantime, we have to deal with these colored-haired trolls that are coming into the industry saying, nope, we're going to make this the way I want to make it for me, and I don't give a crap about the original artist's intent. I don't give a crap if it's not for you anymore after it comes through me. I'm the one in charge. I have all the power, the magical words at my fingertips that I control that go out there to the masses. And as she exposed in her video, she's not a big fan of people understanding the language and saying, hey, what you're doing isn't right. She may have the resume and qualifications of a seasoned translator, but her actions make it clear that her understanding of the responsibility involved is quite lacking. If anything, this is proof positive that some people simply aren't meant for the critical role of bringing another culture's stories to the world, because to do so effectively, one must respect and preserve the authenticity of the original work, not twist it into something else entirely to fit their narrative. And this is something that a lot of people are starting to wake up to recently because of all this stuff that's happening with the video game industry specifically, and all these agenda pushes, these narrative-driven people, the people that want you to understand the message and just go along with it. That's a problem, and people are starting to stand up for it. Again, if you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com. I'm going to leave it there, but if you guys appreciate what I'm doing, please consider hitting that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
So they are very loud on social media when they hear something and they're like, wait, that's not what the subtitle said. These people don't know what they're doing. And it's like, no, you guys, like, you know, this is a skilled profession. We know what we're doing. We didn't change it to spite you in your Japanese 101 class. Like, this is actually what they said. You just don't understand the challenges of it.